This Read 180 topic is made possible by a grant from
Kellogg's Rice Krispies. Celebrating the joy of kids growing through interaction.
And by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and the annual financial support of viewers like you.
Find some shelter, because here comes disaster, courtesy of VJ Tonya, who we call Sister Science. You see, ever since she finished the Read 180 program, she buried herself in science stuff. So she's the perfect person to tell you about this topic and what happens when earth, wind, fire, and water, or anything in our environment, decides to go wacky on us. I think she actually has a more scientific approach.
Ty's right. The environment can go wacky. That's why I choose to do my scientific studies of disaster from a distance. Thank you very much. So, the videos are put together with help from some of these, plus some pretty scary video footage. The first video is about a disaster that's deadly and destructive, but it's still called a slow motion disaster. Put on your hip boots and watch.
Flood.
Mark Twain wrote about the mighty Mississippi that you cannot curb it or confine it, cannot say to it, go here or go there and make it obey, cannot save a shore which it has sentenced. Mark Twain was talking about floods, the slow-motion disaster. They creep in, destroy, then linger for months. Like in 1993 when the Mississippi River crept slowly into 9 Midwest states. Years earlier, levees had been built to hold back floods, so people bulldozed dirt and clay against them. They piled sandbags, but the river kept coming. In Quincy, Illinois, people evacuated just in time. The levee gave way and their homes and farms were buried, causing millions of dollars in damage. The floods moved south, hitting other cities, breaking other levees as Midwesterners helplessly watched the river bury their land, slowly, deliberately, and long-term. Even after the water was gone, billions of pounds of sand covered homes and farms. When the mighty Mississippi flooded the Midwest, this was a tragedy that slowly moved in and would be taking even longer to move out. You've seen how floods creep in and slowly destroy, but there are other natural disasters that happen quickly, violently, and often when you least expect it. Here's my video about one.
Earthquake.
The 1994 LA quake left over $20 billion in damages. Kobe, Japan was nearly leveled. In Alaska, 1964, huge tidal waves followed the 8.3 quake. The San Francisco 1906 quake was followed by deadly fires. Earthquakes shake, crush, crack, and cause chaos. But the fact that this disaster cannot be predicted is possibly the scariest thing about earthquakes. Ask the people of Santa Cruz in Northern California. It was just a sunny day in October. No one knew they were about to be hit. No one was ready in this gym class, in these stores, or on the Bay Bridge that cracked in two. Financially, this was the U.S.'s worst natural disaster to date. Earthquakes happen because of movement of plates deep within the earth that cause the earth's crust to crack. The plate's movement strains the earth, much like moving the two parts of this stick. The strain builds and builds, then releases, and the break creates waves in the earth. Seismologists use several methods to study patterns of past quakes to help them calculate the probability of more quakes in the future. And they're even able to estimate a quake could hit a certain area within a decade or two.
But if you're in the middle of the shaking and destruction, you probably wish Mother Nature was a lot easier to pin down.
We learned way back in the first grade that there were no two snowflakes alike, right? But did you know that their difference is one of the reasons we have avalanches? Really? Boy, when I read that, I just had to pass it along to you Read 180 guys. Here's the story.
Avalanche.
It's as beautiful as it is deadly. Tons and tons of snow barrel down the mountain at 125 miles per hour. Avalanches happen suddenly and without warning. In the sleeping village of Flattery, Iceland, thunderous noises filled the air. Deadly snow shook homes and people awoke to find their town in frigid ruin. A rescue team scrambled to find the living. What triggered this disaster? Snow is composed of ice crystals that are each unique. The rounder ones bond more tightly and densely, and the angular ones bond loosely. Loosely packed snow isn't stable enough to support other dense layers on top, so scientists study snow patterns to try and predict avalanches, but they can rarely prevent them. People just need to get out of their way, if they can. The people of Flattery thought they'd built their homes outside the avalanche zone, but the snow still found them. It's taken years to recover. Now the village of Flattery is quiet again. But never again will they feel safe, because no one can ever be completely prepared for nature's deadly surprises. Okay, so floods are slow motion, earthquakes are unpredictable, and avalanches are nearly unstoppable. But the best adjective for this next disaster is probably relentless. It just kept coming and kept coming and kept coming. Watch.
Volcano.
On the island of Montserrat, music and dance was a part of life. That was before the mighty Soufriere Hills volcano ended its 400-year sleep. And when it awoke, it spewed smoke and ash, forcing people to wear masks or choke. And Soufriere had only just begun. Volcanoes are caused by the tremendous heat inside. This heat melts the Earth's rock, producing gases which rise and build. On Montserrat, when pressure built up, the volcano erupted, spitting out lava, which is melted rock. The lava swept through towns like a fiery river at speeds of up to 45 miles per hour, burning down houses, even melting windows. In a flash, these cows were incinerated where they stood. The aftermath left the entire island as gray and barren as a deserted planet. Except Montserrat isn't deserted yet. There are those who don't want to leave home, or can't.
Trying to hold on, because I don't know what to do.
It's hard to leave home, but with a relentless volcano that continues to erupt in your own backyard, most people are getting out, any way they can.
Nice going. You're done with disaster. The coast is clear.